What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, and you're listening to the Wolf of Wall Street's podcast, where twice a week we talk to your favorite personalities in the worlds of finance, Bitcoin, trading, art, music, sports, and politics. The show is powered by Blockworks Group, a media company with over 20 podcasts in their network. You can check them out at blockworksgroup.io. Now, if you like the podcast, you follow me on Twitter, you absolutely need to check out my website, join my newsletter where I share all my trades, charts, analysis, market thoughts, lessons on improving your trading and investing. You can check that all out at thewolfofallstreets.io. Now, today's guest is a well-known personality in the crypto community and far beyond. Growing up in a business-oriented family, Mati learned at a young age the entrepreneurial skills that he's utilized in his own impressive professional career. Now he's the CEO of his own company, Quantum Economics, which provides a number of successful financial services to his clients. Mati Greenspan, man, thank you so much for coming on, taking the time.
Great to see you again, Scott.
Yeah, we keep meeting like this. We need to do it in person one day.
We will. When the virus is over, we'll do it.
Indeed. I'm due a trip to Israel anyway. So your company, as I mentioned, is Quantum Economics, which we'll call the good QE. And I love that it's QE. It makes me laugh every time I see it on Twitter, actually. But let's talk about the bad QE. Let's just jump right into it. What do you make of the behavior of the central banks now and monetary policy that we're seeing sort of pervasive around the world?
Where to begin, man? Seriously. It's a big topic to start with. So central banks around the world have been printing money nonstop for the last 10 years, and they've been slowly accelerating. They've been kind of encouraged by the fact that there hasn't been any kind of inflation. So usually when you increase the money supply by copious amounts, you would get some sort of inflation, but there has not been. In fact, periods from 2013, 14, 15, they actually saw deflation in many countries despite copious money printing. But now with COVID-19, they basically added more stimulus in a single month than they had in the first 200 years of the country. So we've been in experimental monetary policy ever since 2008. And now we're really seeing the peak of that.
So where do you think it takes us from here? I mean, we obviously hear all the Bitcoin maximalist theories that we've heard forever, hyperinflation, the dollar dies, we go full dystopian future. I'm not really on that boat necessarily, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the path that we're headed on.
So it might seem that way in the United States, I suppose, especially with COVID. I'm sure there's other places as well. And certainly, COVID-19 has done a number on many different industries, some which may disappear forever, some may be forever altered. It's also had some very, very serious impacts on the poorer people of the earth, people who don't have as much access to infrastructure and water and stuff like that. They're having a very rough time of it. Those of us who are able to work at home should be grateful every day for that. And, that's pretty much where we're at with that. And, as far as I see, it will be over at some point. And there's an old saying, every downturn is eventually for the sake of an upturn. So I believe that's what we're seeing right now, where we're seeing a big relaxation in the world's economy, everything cooling down. And then I believe that over time, as things start to pick up, we'll be able to rebuild even better.
Do you think that we were headed on that path regardless of COVID, and it just sort of, sped everything up tremendously, but that it was somewhat an inevitability with what was happening regardless?
In general, I think that COVID-19 has been an accelerator of many things. Many work from home, for example, was a trend before that, right? There was people. I was working from home since November. I quit my job at eToro, and I started working from home immediately with Quantum Economics. And then COVID-19 came in March, and then we see the forced lockdowns. And all of a sudden, everybody's working from home. So everybody who can, anyways. I think that one of the major, and I apologize for the background noise. You were the smart one to put your office in the closed room there. I think that renewable energy and the push away from fossil fuels could be one of the things, positive, permanent changes that we're going to see from COVID-19. We saw the negative price of oil as, airline traffic completely died down overnight around the globe. Demand for crude oil just completely tanked. And then we're seeing people investing in renewable energy sources, so much so that fossil fuel energy is having trouble. I mean, we saw what happened in California. They can't get funding at the moment to power the regular infrastructure. I mean, in the old days, no problem. The power companies will come out with a new bond or whatever, and people will pour money in. Nowadays, all the money is being funneled toward renewable energies, and you can see that in the pinnacle of that in the share price of Tesla, for example, where people have just thrown the evaluations out the window and they're all full in on impact investing.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting to watch that roller coaster and sort of the other companies that have followed along or ridden the coattails, and definitely a little nervous for people who bought near the top. But I guess we'll see how that plays out. I think over time they'll be fine, but a lot of that is definitely, I think, driven by retail traders and the sort of Robin Hood crowd. But perhaps,
yeah. When I see something that doesn't make sense, I don't touch it. I know that people I know that I've seen you momentum playing on Wi-Fi and all that stuff. Honestly, for me, Tesla, Wi-Fi, all of those things, they're way too volatile. I mean, it's not the market I'm looking for. And I've heard you say it on a podcast as well recently. If I can pull 10 or 20% consistently every year,
oh yeah,
I mean, that's all you got to do. And that's what I want to bring for my clients. I want to take that volatility out for them, take that complete nonsense away and say, okay, look, there's a ridiculous valuation. Will the market catch up eventually to Tesla's valuation? It might.
Sure.
But also Elon Musk might take SpaceX to Mars and leave Tesla here on Earth. So people have to understand there's two different companies. If Elon Musk is going to the moon or he's exploring space, that has nothing to do with Tesla. Tesla is a car company. SpaceX is the rocket company. So if he makes advances in the rocket area, it's not necessarily going to affect the share price of Tesla.
Right.
People have to understand, and this kind of lesson that we learned from the ICO bubble, right? There's a utility token, and then we say, what does the utility token do, right? And I was speaking with a journalist today who made an interesting comparison of EOS, right? Those who bought the tokens completely got left in the bag, but Mike Novogratz and his buddies who funded Block 1, they made it like 1,000x on those shares, which were private equity. Public never saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of the pickaxes and shovels model, talk about the gold rush, and none of the people who are rushing for gold actually made any money, but the people who sold them their tools did. And it's kind of similar. That's why obviously we see everyone opening an exchange, and exchanges are going to make money, whether, as long as we're not at zero, they're going to make money either way. Right. So I think that there's a lot of instances where we're going to see the businesses do well without necessarily the coins or the people who jumped on board doing as well. But you touched on already your clients and your goals for them. Can you back up and talk a bit more about what quantum economics is and what you're doing?
Yeah. So quantumeconomics.io. We have, as you mentioned, a range of different financial related services. Is broken down into three main categories, which is analysis, advisory, and money management. As far as analysis goes, first of all, you have the daily newsletter that I'm writing, which is sponsored by Media Shower and Bitcoin Market Journal. And it goes out, it's read by just about every top tier financial media in the world: Bloomberg, CNBC, Thomson Reuters, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, and about 2,000 active readers at the moment. It's also completely free, so anybody who wants to sign up, you certainly can.
I love it.
Thank you. And then in the analysis section as well, we have an entire team of analysts. We have 5 analysts on board from around the world, each one in a unique geographic location, and has a plethora of experience in their own personal market that they're dealing with. So equities, treasuries, energy market, tokenization, of course, DeFi, blockchain, and a Bitcoin analyst as well. So we kind of segregate them out into different markets. And the analysis team is headed up by Mr. Charles Bovaird, who you've probably seen as a senior contributor on Forbes. He writes a lot of articles about cryptocurrency. Yeah. He's also an independent analyst with Moody's and the president of the Financial Writers Society. So that's all under analysis. Advisory, of course, as you know myself, I'm personally an advisor to Lunar Crush and Chili's, and I just added ElectroNeum as well. The members of our team, many of them are advisors on different projects. One of our directors, Mr. Ethan Pierce, just closed the deal today, or announced the deal today, that he's partnering or as an advisor on Green Tech Earth, I believe it's called, or Green Earth Tech, one or the other, who is, of course, working on green energy and tokenization.
You mentioned ElectroNeum, which is awesome because they're one of our brand new sponsors, and we absolutely love them. I just had Richard Ells on the show, and I find them to be just a mind-blowing team and concept, and one of those few applications in blockchain where people are actually using it. It actually has traction and, can actually change the world to some degree. I know it sounds pretty hyperbolic, but I don't think it is at all. What interests you with them, and what are you doing with them?
I mean, it's not like it can change the world. It's already there. I mean, they had tremendous experience right out the gate with airdrops. And they realized that airdropping ETN onto people who needed it, especially in communities in Africa and Western Europe, they were basically giving out free money. And the people, signed up for the app because they wanted the free money. And then they realized that they can actually build kind of an ecosystem. And now their main focus is on financial inclusion. So basically they're taking people in Africa, teaching them how to make, a logo for a company, right? And a video promotion. And then they have their own marketplace where everything happens in ETN, and that person in Africa can now join the entire financial revolution of the internet that he's never been able to before. And there's different ways that I want to see that scaling up. Number one, I think that they get to the point sometimes where they have clients that are so big that they just need more liquidity, more trades happening in ETN. So if people are trading more in ETN, the volumes go up. That'll enable them to take on those bigger clients, like, I don't want to mention any names or anything like that, but there are certain industries that
mobile
want
providers.
To get into this. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And let people top up their mobile minutes with ETN, but they need to have that liquidity as well. So the more people trade on it, the more we're enabling them to accomplish their mission.
So talk about the money management wing. You said you're very happy if you can get your clients 10 to 20%, which in the pre-crypto days would have made you like a top manager on the planet, basically, if you could consistently do that. But now we're in this in this space where people think that they should be doing 100x a day, much less 10 to 20% a year. And as you touched on, I'm thrilled if I'm doing 10 to 20% a year. So obviously that speaks to your experience and how long you've been here.
All the Pepe meme frogs that are YOLOing down on Link are going to go, 10%? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And then you feel like, at that point, you feel like a baby.
Bond, boomer. Yeah.
You feel like, oh my gosh, I've been in this market for years, and I'm like watching this guy who just got in, take the rocket ship up, and he's sporting his moon boots, doing the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah, some of them might actually keep that money at the end, but most I don't think so.
We hope so for those, but as it often is, we've just recently seen with Dave Portnoy, who's slithered back into oblivion as far as his trading goes. A lot of the time, what happens is people join in at the right time on a right trend. If they don't cash out early and often, they're going to end up losing that money. It's just the nature of the beast. And then a lot of the time people get a very big ego, go, oh my gosh, I got this amount of profits. And then they go and tell their grandmother about it. And then that's how bubbles get started. And I was out at, you can go back on Twitter. I was telling them at $20 on Link. I was like, guys, now is the time to take profits. If you're up more than 10x now, $20, cut it. Maybe it'll surpass that someday. Maybe it won't. But would you care to bank, 3x, right? And let the 7x ride, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what you need to do, especially if you're trading on some of these really highly volatile things and you've seen some good profits, take those profits on the table. And then, of course, money management, right? You trade on it with 10% of your equity. Like, go nuts, 10% of your entire portfolio, throw it down on really high risk stuff. But the rest of it, you gotta save that. I mean, that's your money. You don't want to lose that, or else you won't have any left.
Right. It speaks to, I think, the general strategy that you need to employ in this market, which, as you said, selling early and often, but just scale in and scale out, and you'll never really deal with the emotional side of those problems. Like, yeah, sell 50% of it if you're really so attached to it when you've done 10x, and let the rest ride into infinity, up, down, wherever. You at least can walk away and say, damn, I made a lot of money here, right?
You have no idea how much those Pepe Frogs were trolling me at the time. And I'm like,
I saw it.
I didn't say anything against Link. I didn't say it's a bad project. I have no idea. I didn't research it. I don't know. Maybe it's the shit. Maybe it's the oracle of the century and it's going to replace TCP/IP. I don't think so. I pointed out some various flaws in the token economics right out the bat, which I didn't seem to be getting answers to from the frog community. But that's not that they're not, a great project. I have no idea. But if you're going to trade on those things, do your due diligence and risk management. I think that's the bottom line.
I think it's fair to say that every trader or Twitter personality that I've had on this show has taken a beating at some point from that community, myself included, and just vicious.
Embrace it, man. Embrace it. I took one of their Pepe meme frogs that they made of me, which somebody spent a lot of time on that.
That's awesome. I want one.
They put my face with the red tears. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I put it as my profile, and I changed my bio to Frog Slayer. I was Mati Greenspan for a few hours.
But you're right. History in this case, history will judge you well on saying sell at $20.
I didn't say so. I said take
profits. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. You didn't say short it, but so I would love to hear your story of how you actually got into all of this. I mean, I know that you have like a very colorful background and a long history in markets. So this would be a good time, I guess, to start at the beginning and see how you got here and why you're still so passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested and in some way connected to the markets just for about as long as I know myself. I mean, the story that keeps getting out is that paper trading at the age of 13, I mean, that's not exactly accurate. What I was doing was really tracking the prices. I didn't really know what paper trading was at the time. Paper trading is basically when you put a fake position, you write it down on a piece of paper, and then you see, like, in a few months' time, how did you do? When virtualstockexchange.com opened up, I was one of the first people to sign up, where you could, on the internet, open up a virtual account with stocks. And I was trading, Google and all of the tech names back then. It's always been a hobby and a passion, and something that I've been closely connected with.
But where did that come from? I mean, I know that I've read that your grandfather was into markets and was a self-made billionaire, correct?
The self-made billionaire, yes, with a B. Yeah, he from rags to riches. I mean, his parents couldn't afford a model airplane to buy him for his birthday. He was a scrawny kid. He learned how to lift weights. He went out and he got these great stories about how he met my grandmother and went after her, and and how he went scaled up every single time. He scaled up. It wasn't, the billions didn't come until much later in his life, when he was already able to build credit with the banks and then leverage that credit in the financial markets. But that really came only within the last 10 or 20 years. The rest of his life, it's been hard work, head to the ground. You build up, scale up slowly, and it's really the right time, the right place, the right personality for it.
My grandfather was a stockbroker and used to, every morning lay out the paper and check everything and draw his charts, on a piece of graph paper. Pretty.
Wow.
It's one of I talked to my dad about it. It's really my dad's memory, not mine. But I always remember him talking about that. And every single morning, get out, draw the candles manually. Pretty crazy to think about it in that regard, and definitely something that stuck with me and made, for my grandfather, that made me very interested. What's it like having that sort of example in your life? Somebody who you saw work that hard and realize success at each step, because there's plenty of people who work hard and, are somewhat stagnant.
That's an interesting question, Scott. For the most of my life, I didn't really think about it too much. I mean, like the lessons were there. I mean, the talking about business openly at the table, but I didn't, at the time go, oh, wow, these are really valuable lessons for life. Actually, I didn't really care much. I mean, I listened, right? When my grandfather told me, hey, I heard you're into the stocks. So, GE just dropped 20 points. I'm like, so? Well, it's a good company. It'll go back up. Those things kind of tend to seep in, or when they say, when my mom says to me, the price of gold always goes up. And, and you watch it, it does. I mean, she said that when I was very young, and, over time, it always goes up. I mean, especially since the purchasing power of, fiat money is designed to go down. My grandfather and I have a turmoil relationship at times. I mean, I've been a bit rebellious, I suppose, in some parts of my life. And when my grandfather has this thing about golden parachutes, and there was this one case of a teenager who had inherited millions of dollars, and then he bought some really fancy car and spent all the money and then killed himself or something like that. So he really didn't want to give for any of his offspring free handouts. So it was always like, you got to earn it, you got to work for it. And there's always some of these kind of strings attached. So what I'm proud to say is that out of pretty much all my family, siblings and cousins, there are very few of us who are completely financially independent. And I'm very proud to be one of them. But obviously I wouldn't have been able to do that without the lessons that I've learned as a child.
So, obviously we've talked about you growing up, but your professional career, what have the steps been? Where have you been before, and what were you doing that led you to where you are now?
My schooling, I would say, is mostly incomplete. I have a high school GED. I tried college for a while. It didn't really, the first semester I got straight A's, and by the second semester, it was like I completely lost interest. I moved to Israel when I was 12 years old. So high school was, I went to probably a dozen different high schools in Israel just to learn Hebrew. It took me 3 years as a child. So grade school, not so much. College, not so much. And then I decided to get into music. And I really like music. I know you play a bit. I play guitar. I can play a mean clarinet, saxophone, or side flute. And I really connected with that. So I mean, these days I don't get to that much, but I went to music school, college for about 3 years. And then I met my wife, and my wife says, well, you got to get a job. Okay. What's a job? Right. I worked for my grandfather within his firm in every position within his company when I was, summer school, summer jobs. But to actually get, a paycheck and pay the rent and everything like that. And I found something, or a friend of mine helped me put a resume together, showed me all about resumes, and then got me a job as a telephone sales, which English is a very valuable commodity in this part of the world, if you have good English. And so I kept my California accent as much as I could. And they taught me how to sell things on the phone. That was a company called DSNR. They had a great sales training program. And then after that, I mean, one day I woke up after about 8 months and I go, I don't really want to sell things to people on the phone and, over the green card lottery. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Probably haven't in the United States, but in Europe, everybody knows what it is. It's basically the United States government has this free program, and then my job was to sell it to people. So, people go, but can't I do that for free? And then you go, well, yeah, I guess you can. But we help you process the papers.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to do that anymore. I called up my boss and said, I'm not coming in today. So what's wrong? So I just don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. And then, a few months later or a month later or so, I got an interview at Ava FX. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, a popular FX broker. It was 2008, right before the financial crisis.
Good timing.
And they go, oh, I see you worked at DSNR. They have a great sales trading program. You're hired. Like, just like that.
Oh, nice.
I'd actually signed up for a virtual account with Ava FX even before I ever had an idea to go work in that industry. I said, I was looking online, how to make money online. Day trading, yeah, I can do that. I like the markets, and then apparently I had a virtual account with Ava FX already. I worked with them for a couple of years. And then I got into eToro. I mean, with that kind of experience, it was like a shoe-in position, doing VIP account management. So, the higher equity clients and assisting them in the markets. And I've seen probably thousands of different clients firsthand experience in the market and how they get in and how they go out with their tail between their legs, 99% of the time, unfortunately. And that's even before crypto was born. So
we don't need crypto to go broke as traders. We can do it with anything, man.
It's been happening since the dawn of time, not even since the dawn of the internet. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Boiler Room and
of course,
Wolf of Wall Street. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that movie.
Are you sick of paying ridiculous fees to trade crypto? It's time you try Voyager. It's hands down my favorite place to buy and trade crypto, and it's 100% commission free. Voyager gives you easy access to more than 30 top crypto assets, and you can instantly transfer cash from your bank account so you never miss a trading opportunity. Even better, you can now automatically earn interest on your crypto holdings. Currently, they're offering 5% interest on Bitcoin and 6% on USDC. Yes, you heard that correctly, 6%. And there are no limits or lockups, which means your funds always stay liquid. Find out why so many people are making the switch to Voyager. Visit investvoyager.com or search for Voyager on the iTunes or Google Play Store and get $25 in free Bitcoin when you use the promo code SCOTT25. That's investvoyager.com, promo code SCOTT25 for $25 in free Bitcoin and start trading today. Hey guys, I want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, ElectroNeum, and their amazing new platform, Anytask.com, a place where freelancers can finally be paid for their work without needing a bank. Freelancers match directly with potential clients and receive ETN as payment. Even better, ETN can be spent in over 2,000 physical and online locations worldwide. A lot of companies talk the talk of mainstream adoption, but ElectroNeum is truly walking the walk. They're banking the unbanked worldwide and offering opportunity to those who lack access to the resources that many of us take for granted. In the next few months, they're also adding more in-app purchases, including local food and supplies, paid TV, gaming, gift cards, and much more. If you'd like to learn more, head on over to ElectroNeum.com. That's ElectroNeum.com. Maybe he stole my name, but other than that, yeah.
Yes.
So it's funny you mentioned going to eToro, though. I mean, and I think probably for a lot of people in this community, I think of you when I think of eToro. Like it became somewhat synonymous. I mean, I think I somewhat knew of eToro because of following you and knowing who you were. So clearly you had a huge impact there. I'm wondering what the impact of working there had on you.
All right. So right now, as we're talking, I mean, my eToro account is open. I mean, I've got an account in eToro. Like it was extremely bittersweet. It was the most risky thing that I've ever done in my entire life leaving there. And I had a good job, like a really good job. And I said to myself, am I doing it? Am I not doing it? What happened was I realized that throughout my entire career, I'd been on a steady line of progression, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. And I got to a point in eToro where I realized that I needed to continue to climb that ladder, right? I need to have, certain things, higher salary, people under me, better title, that next step in the ladder. And it just wasn't coming. And I said, you know what? And it's not anything that eToro did wrong. It was just that, nobody had ever given me the opportunity to manage a team within eToro, right? And I understand that. I mean, and of course, people there are like my family still to this day. I mean, there are certain people that I would trust with my children or my my car keys or my house, honestly. It was very difficult to leave there, but it took me about a year from the time where I said, okay, I have to either move forward here or move on. And during that year, I took some risks within the company. I said, you know what, I'm gonna break it, or I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna break this. And
swing for the fences.
And what happened was I ended up breaking, and I broke some relationships. I broke some relationships with my manager. Oh, a few of them were dicks, so I didn't really care. But Yoni's cool. By the way, I'm sporting Good Dollar right now, which I don't know if you're familiar with them. The Good Dollar Project for Universal Basic Income, which is brainchild of Yoni Asia. But it was so difficult because these people that you've built such a strong relationship over 7 years, and you can't tell them. You can't say, "Oh, by the way, I'm quitting."
Right. Of course.
You can't. And it's like this kind of big secret. And then I'm like, can I swing it? Can I not do it? I don't know. I've been on a steady paycheck my entire career, right? I've been paycheck to paycheck. Did the math, and I said, you know what? It's risky, but if I end up falling, I'll be able to get another job.
No problem. Of course.
I'll be in a bit more debt, but it's something that I'll be able to pay off by the end of my life. That was exactly what was going through my. And I've got 3 kids, and one of them was just born at this time.
Yeah.
So I decided I had to make the leap, and that's when I did. And I said, you know what, guys, I love you very much, but I gotta go. And started thinking about the different ideas. What can I do? And I said, you know what, I want to do everything. Right? I want to do everything that I can. I want to do. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go as big as I can, and that's why you come to the website and you maybe you get lost because you don't know exactly what it is that quantum economics does. But that's because we have a very broad range, and so far the success, knock on wood, have been success to success, and we have already 13 members on the team. We're onboarding all the time, and we're onboarding new clients all the time, especially for our content generation services for the analysts. And then, as I mentioned, going into the money management. Right now, the money management aspect is just eToro, and we're doing well there. I mean, we got 50% gains year to date, which is pretty good.
So eToro is in copy trading, effectively.
Just copy trading, and just in the United States.
Right.
So it's basically when they went into the United States, they segregated United States from the rest of the world, which is unfortunate. Right. And the United States has only access to crypto. So in Europe, and when I was managing $250,000 on an account, an eToro account in Europe, eToro, while I was working there. And that was, it was doing 10% to 20% per year. But that was on all assets, like commodities, currencies, stocks, you name it. And I was able to hedge Bitcoin against the S&P 500 like a freaking champ. Now, and I try to be as clear as possible, the eToro account that I'm managing is crypto only, so I don't have the options to hedge different assets against each other. So it's extremely high risk account, which means that if the price dips, the only real option that we have is to load more money in so that we can buy the dip. It's the only play that I can make that makes sense as a long-term strategy. I can't hedge it. I can't hedge. There's nothing. I try to hedge my personal finances against other accounts that are private accounts and things like that. But at the moment, that's where it is. And we've got $500,000 under management, 750 people copying Unreal Money. But I want to go into traditional funds, and then fortunately, that's not something I've done before. I've got the license. I have a license from CySEC, which is the Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission. It was very difficult to get. I mean, I was the only person in eToro who ever tried this examination. They sent to the basic examination, which was the step below that, they sent probably dozens of different account managers, and they had a pass rate of maybe like 1 in 3 or something like that to get the basic exam, and then to get the advanced exam was the only one whoever even attempted it. So that to me was that's a piece of paper that says, okay, I am allowed to make investment decisions for my clients, obviously knowing their appetite for risk and knowing their full background and what it is that they're interested in. I'm never gonna, I'm not gonna tell people on Twitter, buy gold right now. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know who you are. I don't know in what situation your portfolio is.
So important.
And then people are going to come at me and say, you said buy gold and it went down. And then I'll
I'm talking about for 20 years from now, and you're talking about for 20 minutes from now. So it's the context is everything.
Exactly. So especially whatever you see on Twitter, tweets are not financial advice. But basically what this allows me to do is to be the director of a company or director of a fund in Cyprus. So that's what I'm doing. And I spent the last, 4 months just researching how is this done, because I've never done it before. My initial thought was, okay, I'll get somebody to do this who knows what the fuck they're doing. And I'll give them guidance on what we're investing in, and we'll take it from there. Nobody stepped up. And I looked and I just okay, doing it myself. So I researched into it, and the best way to do it, I sent out a little teaser in my newsletter saying, okay, guys, we're looking to put together a fund, who's interested? And the response that I got from my subscribers, the people that are reading my everyday thoughts, was, I want to, whatever one of you, whoever's watching is from, really thank you guys. It's really from the bottom of my heart, because it really surpassed all my expectations. Just from those core followers and readers, I said, okay, we have more than enough to go on, and I'm not even talking about advertising on social media or anything like that, and we can build a proper hedge fund, which is completely regulated, completely diversified, and I'll allow basically what it is kind of like a choose your own adventure. Okay, it's like an investment. So the person invests X amount, and then we have ready-made portfolios for them. So we'll give them different titles, but let's say 4 to 5 or 3 to 5 different portfolios, and then they can decide the allocation, right? And then it's going to be something that's locked in. I want people to understand, I'm not building another casino here, right? This is a casino. Binance is a casino. Ameritrade and Robinhood, those are casinos. This is not what this is. This is something that people want to make an investment over time, continue to invest, and continue to see consistent growth. This is really what that's aimed at. And then, look, if we have a bad year, and I'm sure that'll happen, I don't want to go below 5 or 10% drawdown. And then we say, okay, you know what? We pick ourselves back up and we continue to claw it back. And if as long as the markets continue what they've been doing for the last few hundred years, we should have no problem doing that over time.
So they're your own custom structured products, basically, and somebody just puts their money in that basket. And then you say, it could be like moderate risk, high risk, or whatever, or based on what the exposure is. And then every 6 months or a year, you reassess and recalibrate, rebalance.
Exactly right. And then within the next year or two, and here's where it gets really fun, I believe that the regulation here in Europe will be sufficient to be able to tokenize them. And then we take those funds, we hop them on a blockchain, and we send them to Fidelity. We send them to the Stuttgart Digital Assets Exchange, which just opened up, and is definitely looking for these type of investment products to add to their books. Singapore Digital Assets Exchange. They're all going there. They don't have everything. They're just frantically right now crossing their T's and dotting their I's. And as soon as they do, I don't necessarily need to be the first one to do it. But as soon as I see I don't want to be the first pioneer to cross the,
right. But we are seeing not to that level, and with these legacy companies like Fidelity that you're talking about. But obviously, we're seeing these index funds sort of being thrown around on all the exchanges now. It started with the ETH Bull, all these things, but then the DeFi index on FTX, so it gives you some exposure to DeFi without having to go on Burger Swap and figure out what the hell is happening there. So I think that it's a very popular concept right now, and is definitely somewhat the future. certainly in crypto, and it's the way that I think your average person is familiar with or wants to invest. Right. I mean, someone buys an IRA or gets a 401k and they just buy a bunch of mutual funds and hope for the best. Right. So.
Exactly. I mean, that is the idea. You're correct. This is a diversification aspect. And somebody goes, I think DeFi is interesting, but they don't have the time, the energy, or the understanding to go, today Polkadot, tomorrow yams. They don't, and some people do, and it's fun.
I can't.
I don't, honestly. So which is why I'll say, okay, we put some Polkadot, we put some yams, we put some Ethereum in there, and we make kind of a crypto assets portfolio. And then we have another one, which is structured towards, let's say, the central bank money printing problem. And we say, okay, we put hard assets in there, gold, Bitcoin, real estate, things that, are designed to appreciate over time, stock indexes included. And especially in the face of monetary debasement, these assets can go up any number.
So those are all really interesting concepts. I think that's going to be very popular. I want to talk about, obviously, I mean, eToro was, I would say, I don't know if it was early or if they just had like a more noticeable commitment to crypto. Is that where you initially were introduced to Bitcoin yeah?
Of course. I mean, Yoni gave me my first Bitcoin when it was $30 a pop. He gave it to me flat out. People were giving them away back then.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like that was the community at the time. It was airdrops and giveaways and gifts. I gave a few to other people. I mean, from that one Bitcoin, I gave some to to this friend, that friend. Some people came back to me, Mati, I saw Bitcoin. Where's my Bitcoin? I can't get it back. Well, sorry. You lost it. Yeah, and then the ICO market and all that stuff. Around the beginning of 2017, or even at the end of 2016, I noticed that Bitcoin was doing like this thing where it was gaining really consistently, like not a lot, maybe 2% a week, 1% a week, 5% a week, right? And like every week was up. And around January 2017, I said, okay, $1,000 again, and that was like a significant level. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm making a video about it. And I made this video called Bitcoin Rush. I think to this day, it probably has about 20 million hits on YouTube. Not because it went viral necessarily, but because somebody in our marketing team decided that they could slap a free demo banner on it. And it had the craziest conversion rate that they'd ever seen on YouTube. Basically, eToro blew out their Q3 and Q4 budgets in Q2 because it was doing so well. And then we decided to play with it. We said, okay, that one's good, but people are getting, a bit used to it or whatever. They're getting, and then we started A/B testing it, optimizing it, and using different people and, different account managers. And it was just, by the time we got to Q3 of 2017, the crypto rush was in full boom. I mean, completely. Things were going nuts. Servers were going down all over the place. eToro had upgraded they did a 3-year upgrade, and it lasted 3 months, like on their servers, like quite honestly like that. And then, and it was basically the whole company went into this whole hyper overdrive situation where marketing had completely closed. There was no budget for marketing anymore, and nobody in marketing even needed to do anything because the customers were coming by themselves already. The word was out. Right. The eToro has crypto. The eToro has liquidity. Even sometimes the buttons got gray and clients got frustrated. Why can't I buy right now? Because there's no liquidity in the market. Everybody's buying and nobody's selling. So, I mean, we broke so many records even within that month. And like basically eToro had to retrain their entire staff. And at one point, I walked by with one of the senior developers of eToro, like the guy who built the platform from the ground up. And I walked by his desk and I see somebody's passport on his screen. He was verifying fucking KYC docs, right?
Like himself. And that's so crazy.
Like himself, yeah, because that's what everybody was doing. We were just onboarding new customers. And customer service was completely overwhelmed. They said, okay, the chat room, we're going to close it 3 hours a day just so that we can get back on track with the tickets. And I said, you know what, 3 hours a day, chat, I'll do it. And I did it by myself for 3 hours a day. because at FX, I did the customer service chat. It's no big deal. Everybody with their $200, and it's the most important thing in the world to them right now. Where is my $200? Why isn't my account verified yet? Why can't I buy XRP right this minute? And so I did it. It was like 10, 20, 30 chats at a time. You do the chat cans and everything, but there's no way to really stay on top of it like as you should. But it was really interesting times to be around and to be a part of the market, I think.
So you've been in Bitcoin for most of its history. So what is Bitcoin to you now? Having seen the entire roller coaster and heard all the narratives and probably supported or rejected a lot of them throughout time. And listen, this isn't finite, things change, but I'm just curious how you view it at this moment.
I view it now exactly the same as I did after viewing it for 5 minutes. I saw the email from Yoni Asya who said, this is the money of the future, and explained a little bit about decentralization because my mind wasn't there yet. But having witnessed the 2008 financial crisis and the bailouts, by the time we got to 2013, I was like, this whole financial system. And to finally say, okay, we have this kind of money that we can take that power away from the central bankers and put it back in the hands of the people. And I immediately went to Facebook because everybody was using Facebook back then. I was a laggard on Facebook, but I was one of the first off the platform. And I'm sorry to say that as soon as those testimonies came out, I'm like mind control, really? No, thank you. I'm out.
Hard pass.
So the first thing I did after reading 2 articles was I went to Facebook and I posted, hey, everybody, the money of the future is here. And I put this link to an article about Bitcoin. And surprisingly, and even though I was getting at the time 20 to 50 likes on each post, there was no engagement. It was like nothing. People were they weren't even interacting. People didn't even look twice at it. I guess just they scroll down the feed.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I see people nowadays responding on that same post, right? Now that they've gone back and look at it. But I still, and then a few months later, there was the Cyprus thing that happened with the Cyprus bail-in, and then, Bitcoin rose. That was the first analysis that I did was Bitcoin rising because of, a geopolitical event, right? And then Bitcoin never reacted to another geopolitical event until January of this year, when the missile hit Iraq and killed that general. From then, from 2013 until 2020, it's been completely disconnected from the rest of the markets. But at this point, I see it exactly the same as I did then. It's the money of the future, that it belongs to the people, that belongs to the internet, and not to the people, the powers that be, shall we call them.
Do you think that it's good money, or do you think that it's a better store of value, or both? I mean, yeah, that obviously there's a crossover there because, hard money that's deflationary obviously makes it good money. But it's, we obviously know that there's better cryptocurrencies for transacting, things that are faster. But
I don't think the world is there yet. I don't think that the world is really demanding third party or a third option money system that's instant and you can buy coffee with it. I mean, fiat works in most of the world. I mean, it doesn't, with very few exceptions. I mean, I think that people get a bit overboard and they think the Fed is going overboard and the whole system is going to crash. I don't think so. I mean, we might see a bit of heightened inflation, but we haven't seen it until now. And there's no reason to think that it's suddenly going to be doomsday scenario as far as the global economy is concerned. As an investor, it always pays to be an optimist. And I learned that the hard way in 2012 when I said, 2012, the world is crumbling, the Mayan calendar is over, Greece is completely messed up, Italy is next, right? And you short everything European. And then the Europeans, somehow they dug their way out of it. Somehow they said, okay, you know what? Heads to the ground, austerity and stimulus, and we're done. And, Greece is already, they're by now, mostly out of the woods, I would say.
Functioning economy. Yeah.
Exactly. And the world's not over, and the world continues, and we continue to, we continue to do the same thing over and over again. And I think that's the strategy that you kind of have to take, because you know what happens if you're wrong? Fuck it, the world's ending anyways. What do I need all that?
It's true, right?
What do I need all that money for?
Yeah, it's so true. And if you zoom out far enough, markets never go down. So as you said, I mean, it pays to be an optimist, but that's because the nature of markets, unless you're literally in the tulips and, beanie babies, they go up.
YOLO, YOLO investing.
But you touched on something earlier, which is something I love to talk about. The stats, 90 to 95, maybe 99% of all traders fail, right?
Yes, they do. It's always
and you saw it firsthand over and over again with people blowing up their eToro accounts. So why do you think that is?
It's not just eToro. Every broker I've ever worked for has always been like that.
Yeah.
And there are those brokers that kind of prey on those people as well. They come in and get them to invest, and then they even B-book it. You know, like most people don't even know what B-booking is, but it basically means that the broker's a casino. He takes your $1,000, puts it in his pocket, and he gives you some virtual money to play with, knowing full well that you're going to crash your account no matter what you do.
Yep.
They give you enough leverage to hang yourself, and then they're like, if somebody comes and demands his money and he's making a lot of stink with the regulators and or on social media, okay, we give it to him.
Give him his money. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, they're going to continue.
But why is trading so hard? I mean, why do they all inevitably fail?
Because largely because people have unrealistic expectations. They believe that they are going to, with $500, become a millionaire within a year. Like
tomorrow.
That is it. Like, you know what? I'm gonna make right now a lot of money, and then I'm never gonna have to work for the rest of my life. It's not how investing works. It's how trading works. And traders lose money, investors make money. What is Warren Buffett's old saying? The transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient.
Yep.
Really all it is, it's people that come in and they don't know what they're doing, and they use too much leverage because they realize that the leverage is their only way out of a situation where they can get the edge.
I only have 500, but I need 5,000.
Or try 5 million, right? And then they trade $5 million worth on $500. You're gonna get liquidated real fast, and you lose all your money. And that's basically the story of traders. And I've seen some successes too along the way. I mean, I've seen people both who've done their homework or got completely dumb luck. I saw some guy in Germany. Oh my God, he made so much. Like he put in like 20 grand, and he bought like 3 houses for his children after that. He shorted the euro dollar at the right time, right at the peak. He rode this massive downward trend. And he frequently cashed out. He frequently wiped. He put some more money back in, but he kept cashing out, and that was how he was able to keep the money. After that, the euro dollar changed its course and started doing up and down rather than straight down. And then he's like, I'm out. I don't have my thing anymore.
But that's just good trading. That's a good trader.
I've seen scalpers who beat the system consistently. They see which broker is going first, and then which broker is behind, and then the broker that's behind. They got a really fast computer, lots of nice monitors, and they see that non-farm payrolls report come out, the market booms, and that broker who's last, they'll take them for all they're worth. And you know what? I've seen it happen, and I've seen people make lots of money in the markets. But it's infrequent. It's like really infrequent. I mean, maybe your chances are better than playing the lottery, I would say, but the stakes are higher.
Yeah, but worse than a casino, worse than blackjack.
Look, if 1% are making money, I mean, what percentage of people who play the lottery make money? Well, 0.0.
We talk about edge as traders, and everybody has their system and their indicator and the thing that they love. And I always joke that that's not where edge comes from, even though I think younger traders think that it does. To me, edge comes from just that emotional control and the ability to just be stone cold and play out your plan with no emotion. I mean, do you agree, or do you think that there's some other edge?
Yeah, that was really interesting to me, because In a certain way, you do get desensitized to it. I wouldn't say, like, if I have any money on high leverage, I cannot get desensitized. Like if it's like really high leverage and I'm playing and I like it and that's fine. You know, I know that I'm gambling and I know that, you know, I'm never going to see that 500 shekels again. That's fine.
Right. But if you approach it with that intention, it's fine. If it's your last 500 shekels.
While that money is live, yeah, no, you can't. It has to be money that you're willing to lose. You compare it to going to a casino. You're going down to the blackjack table. You know that the money's not coming back. You know it, and you're fine with it. I'm happy. And
you paid for a good time.
It's a rush, and I feel the rush, and I can't put the phone down. I can't sleep. You know, and it's fine. Where I really learned to desensitize was when I was managing a larger portfolio with eToro. On their eToro platform. And what I realized is with the massive diversification, like when you're involved in 200 different assets, like whatever decision you take on today, whatever, you know, it doesn't matter because I'm just treating with a fraction of my total portfolio. So if I make an adjustment, like if I'm going through my portfolio and go, maybe I should close that position today or scale down the amount of percentage of gold, right, over the next few months. And like say, instead of 10%, I want to get it down to like 8% over a month.
Yeah.
Right? And when you look at it like that, you have the fidget. I can still fidget, right? And I can still close very small positions within the larger portfolio. And then I realized that I can kind of have it both ways. Like I can be excited about it, but at the same time, take these type of decisions and overanalyze on the very small things that they're not going to make those type of big decisions. So I mean, for me, I know that from what you've said, you're completely different. I don't feel desensitized at all. But what I do feel, and exactly along the lines of what you've been saying, is balance. And I think that balance is critical, and balance in your life. I mean, for me, like balancing my family, balancing my work, and even religion, I would say, plays a big part in that. I pray for sometimes an hour a day, from 30 minutes to an hour a day, which is basically my form of meditation. That's my form of getting my head into the game, because it is, for me, not 24/7. I mean, for you, I know that you trade 24/7, nonstop, crypto never sleeps. For me, it's like I take Saturdays off. Friday night, close the phone, close my computer. I have family time, and we do a dinner. 25 hours straight, I don't touch work. Like, I'll watch Netflix. I'm not that religious, you know. You see me with a beard. I don't, you know, like, I'm not like the whole Shomer Shabbos thing, you know, but it's, for me, it's like that
digital Sabbath.
I digitally detox. I stay away from work, and I completely try and get my focus back. And then during that meditation daily, again, try to regress, take it away from work. Maybe I'll sit in that yellow chair, and maybe I'll see the charts out of the corner of my eye or something, and maybe even meditate on that a little bit. But try and clear my mind as much as possible, which I think is extremely critical for keeping that balance and keeping kind of a cool head, and trying to take these type of decisions. And there's not many decisions that you need to take like that, but you know, even just one or two a day can be quite critical.
Yeah, and for longevity too. You know, you just can't, nobody can go 24/7, 365 and sustain. I mean, you just have to. And I think as parents, like we have a forced break no matter what, right? I mean, there's just times you got to take care of your kids. It is what it is, right? And, but yeah, I mean, for you, it's religion. For another person, it might be to go for a jog for 30 minutes and listen to music. But it's just so, so important that you're able to detach and put your phone away and not think about it. And I think that's been a huge difficulty for a lot of people, definitely for me with COVID, because I can't do, or have not been able to do necessarily a lot of the activities. I don't go to the gym. That used to be, I used to go to the gym every day for an hour, and they'd yell at you if I even like picked up my phone. So it was, you know, it's just not, I don't get that now. It's very hard.
Right. Yeah. And for me also, I mean, like I mentioned, I mean, was commuting, all the way for 7 years or even my entire career up until last November. And the commute itself for me was like kind of personal time. Like I could drive to work, but I'd rather take the bus because I don't want to sit in traffic like this. I want to either scroll on my phone or let my mind wander, take a nap, or learn something new. I have like an hour a day each way that I could like just me time and do whatever I want for myself. And that was kind of critical. And then once I started working from home, I realized that I needed some kind of other escape. And that's when I realized, okay, I can pour a bit more text. Like I was doing 3-minute prayers when I was commuting, we're done. But now I can, at least I have 2 hours that are free. I can put 30 minutes back into, balance.
Well, I know that we're up against it here with time. I just want to ask you one more thing. And that is, what difference do you see in your trading or mentally, emotionally when you're doing it with other people's money versus your own? Because for me, I don't really have the urge to manage other people's money. I think that I sleep very well at night right now. I can mentally handle my own losses. It's totally fine. It doesn't bother me, but I don't know if I would sleep as well if I was losing my friends and families or strangers' money.
Yeah. So, I mean, my parents also come to me, especially, about Bitcoin. They always want to know, hey, should I buy it? And I told them DCA. That's
what my parents do. Yep.
My dad figured out the Cash App real quick, how to buy Bitcoin, and then the Cash App now does DCA automatically. That's it. That's all I need to tell him. And he's like, I said a little bit often, and that's exactly what they're doing. I don't really feel much of a difference between managing other people's money and my own money. It really, to me, is kind of one and the same. I don't feel more responsible because it's not mine. And I don't feel, less responsible because it's not mine, right? I feel kind of the same level of responsibility. I want to treat other people's money as if it's my own, and there isn't any kind of real difference between it. And every once in a while you look at the number, okay, 500,000 right now, which is on high risk. But the point that I've made as far as informing the people who copy me on eToro, at least, is look, this is a high risk, and I'm trying to do the best I can to inform them of the risks, and that way they can understand, and then inform them of my strategy and tell people, look, if we see a dip, which happened several times already, we're investing more. And there are very few people have uncopied me because of that. Most people, either they continue to invest with me or buy the dips with me, or they sit out with their original cash. Either way, generally speaking, they've been very happy. Like on eToro, the community there, the people that are copying me, like every time I write a post about what we're doing, what our strategy is, they always come back. Thank you so much. Thank you for updating. And that's really I just want to be transparent with them as far as what my strategy is. And as long as I do that, my hands are clean. People understand when they're investing that there are risks. Thank God we've been more than successful so far. But look, if things go pear-shaped, that's what'll happen. But I'll do my best at that point to, if there was some real red flags and I saw, okay, Bitcoin's going back to 3K or had any kind of feeling like that, we scale back on the risk and make sure that we do the best we can to protect everybody's money. But as far as the fundamentals so far as, Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, things are really, really incredible. I mean, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, the US government with the OCC updates. I mean, the way that European is going full hard on the people that I'm speaking with about setting up my fund, they're all like, tell me what's happening in DeFi. What's the latest coin? And these are people that don't get on a Zoom call without a freaking suit and tie, right?
Right.
And,
the real money is here.
And they're asking me about Polkadot, really like that. Today I was on a call and this guy from Cyprus, he's the most knowledgeable people as far as hedge funds go. And he's like, how's, what's going to happen with Polkadot? I'm like, okay, I don't know. Let me get one of my analysts on the line.
Somebody who could tell you.
We'll put together a nice portfolio that'll reflect that type of growth, but not necessarily be exposed to all of the ups and downs. And that's the best really I can do for it.
Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. A lot of really valuable information. So where can everybody follow up with you, follow you, and if they want to copy you or participate in what there it is. He's pointing at it, quantumeconomics.io. Where do they follow you personally?
Sign up for the newsletter. I'm writing a newsletter every single day, which has all of my deepest, darkest thoughts about the markets, all markets, not just crypto. And that's really the best place if you want to know everything. If you just want to know a little bit, Twitter, that's where, the little things that float into my head and I go, let me test this idea out on the crowd today and get every single, it's a learning tool.
Great for sentiment. Great for sentiment.
Yeah, exactly. LinkedIn, but that's where our badges of honor go. Yes. We just passed this month 100, out of the whole team, 100 mentions in the media, of journalists that were asking us questions and then quoted somebody from quantum economics, either one of our analysts or directors or VPs, and 100 mentions. That was a milestone for us. And we hope to grow from there.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. I know it's nighttime where you are, even though it's only mid-afternoon for me. So,
my girls are going to be up till 3 a.m. We're on COVID time.
It is what it is. I mean, we've gone native over here as well, so I can understand it for sure. What a time to be alive, right?
Seriously.